Welcome back to another episode on the MLD Balls page. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about the Carolina Panthers. All right, so like I said, in today's episode, we're going to be talking about the Carolina Panthers. And we at that point where this team is a team that Bryce Young, you gotta take it or leave it. This is Bryce Young make or break year. You either gonna get paid or not because Bryce Young the first year he was not bad to be honest. Second year or what year is Bryce Young on? But all I know is this past year, like at the end of the year, he was cool. Like my first video that really like started like popping off on this page was me calling Bryce Young Uncle Bus after like week 2 of the season. Um, I think Bryce Young going into year 3. That's what it is because his first year I watched Bryce Young and I hated him. Oh my goodness, I hated Bryce Young. But in Alabama, I loved him. And then year 2, like the first couple games, I hated him, and then at the end of the season, he started growing on me. Bryce Young started growing on me. Maybe he getting used to the NFL. There's a world where Bryce Young gets used to the NFL, or like I don't know. But all I know is Bryce Young. It seemed like it started making sense. It looked like it started making sense to him because in the beginning it wasn't. In the beginning it wasn't, and I had film breaking down why Bryce Young is a bust. Oh man, watching him was hilarious. But after he came back from getting benched, he looked like a totally different player. So like maybe that was his wake up call, and the fact that he already had a wake up and awakening kind of show you like he probably on his last leg on this team. Like I think he is. And Carolina Panthers got some weapons. First round they took wide receiver out of Arizona, Ted McMillan. Uh, wow, I usually try and wait to talk about the draft. So wow, the Panthers are the team that took offense first in the draft. Or offensive weapon. Like quarterback's always gonna go, but most of these players in the draft they be defensive minded in the beginning of them. But I'm yapping. Either way, Ted McMillan, uh, gotta find a graph at this point. But the Carolina Panthers got a lot of things going on for them. I think that Chuba Hubbard is one of the most underrated players in the league, bro. Like this offense should be centered around Chuba Hubbard if they doing the right thing and just let Bryce Young continue to find his way into the NFL as time goes on. But I don't know if that's what they're gonna do. Their offensive coordinator going to search up who their offensive coordinator is right now is Brad and Zeke. Not a guy I'm familiar with. Yeah, he was hired 2024 um in February. So I mean he spent one season with him, wide receiver coach. I don't know what I think about the offense coordinator. No idea who he is. One thing I do know, at the end of the season, the Panthers started looking better. Who is the Panthers head coach? The Panthers head coach is Dave Canales. Oh, he came from Tampa with Dave Canales. Makes sense. So that's Dave Canales' right hand man. All right, that's cool. Um, Dave is a good offensive mind. I mean, that kind of explains why Bryce Young started looking better at the end of the season. I remember I was saying Bryce Young was bad, and my friends and my acquaintances was telling me like, nah, bro, you tripping. It's the offense type woody woo. Offensive line suck, woody woo, making every excuse. And then when Bryce Young got mentioned, Andy Dalton came in. I mean, Andy Dalton had a couple good games at quarterback. I'm telling you, Bryce Young is not in the worst scenario. The the offensive line on the Panthers low key like it's like good, y'all. Like the offensive line is not bad. They got Ekem and Moten on the tackles, and they interior is low key like kind of tough with Damian Lewis and Robert Hunt. Like bro, this offensive line is good. The receivers they drafted them. They don't have the best receivers, but they got a collection of guys that I like, and that's a way to start because let's start talking about these guys draft. I mean, this is going to be the rest of the video because that's the majority of what the Panthers did. Ted McMillan, he is wide receiver out of Arizona. His technique is nice, bro. He kind of like Larry Fitzgerald type with the technique, bro. His height and his size also, and then his yak ability, kind of like, oh, I may have even should have compared him almost to an AJ Brown with his yak ability, bro. But really, that's like Devontae Adams come for him. Devontae Adams type of ability with the ball in his hands. Like Ted McMillan is your traditional wide receiver one. That he's a big body that's fast, but he's not as fast as other people. Actually, the fact that I put speed as his biggest con, I want to see what his 40 time was. Cause like I ain't even saying he's slow. He ran a 4.4. Y'all, Ted McMillan ran a 4.4, and I think his biggest weakness is his speed. Um, yeah, yes. He that's why he's scheme proof. He's scheme proof. He could play in the slot. He could play in the outside. Man, you could line him up at tight end if you wanted to. You know, like he is a pass catcher, and wow, he is scheme proof. Like you literally just line him up and find out where the other people go. You line Ted McMillan up, find out where the other people go, and you move on from there. And I think that's why this team took him because not the best little weapons, but I say that because they ain't have a number one option. If McMillan is a number one option, then this becomes like one of the deepest receiver rooms in the league because they'll have McMillan, man in the middle. They'll have Adam Thielen being a vet. And while they have Adam Thielen, not only do they have him, they have Hunter Renfrow. Hunter Renfrow is another slot receiver who he ain't playing the league last year, which is crazy. He ain't have a job in the NFL, but we all know that Hunter Renfrow is capable of going for 1,000 yards. But on this Panthers team, I doubt it. But he's that type of slot receiver that he will keep moving the chains for you, And they have a third one that they drafted in Jimmy Horn. He's another one of those slot receivers that has separation and is smart. He has the awareness in the slot to do things. He reminds me of Tank Dell, Hunter Renfrow, and Cole Beasley. Like Jimmy Horn, Adam Thielen, and Hunter Renfrow, those are your slot receivers that you're going to put next to McMillan all year. So no matter what, you're going to have, as long as McMillan is healthy, you're going to have McMillan with a bunch of slot receivers. And on the other end, you're going to have Xavier Legette, who's going to be the guy who's your Debo Samuel. You know, he's going to be getting the jet sweeps. He's going to be moving around and stuff. They're going to be using his big body and frame. This team is tough. This team is tough with the receivers, like they depth-wise, especially, like I said, if everything comes into fruition with McMillan, he really where it goes. Like, if he could be a wide receiver one, this wide receiver room is deep, man. And to end off with the offense, bro, they got Trevor Etienne, who kind of will be like a Jonathan Stewart for y'all, a D'Angelo Williams if he hits his upside, and like Amal Brashaw if he hits his upside, you know, in between running back power. It'd be real good for y'all on the goal line touches where like Chuba Hubbard probably just ran for 70 yards and got stopped and, you know, he's tired. And then you put Etienne in the finish. You know, Etienne is a good finisher. He's a good finisher. And that would be a good thing for the Panthers. Like, this team really focused on their offensive weapons, which is probably what they will. You know what, man? I'm proud of the Panthers. They had, like I said, a good offensive line. Maybe if they got a center, I would have been like telling y'all this is probably the best interior in football. Maybe that's what they could have did, but like they still got the weapons that, you know, could bring Bryce Young on to that another level. They brought J.C. Horn back, and that is a big thing because J.C. Horn, he's an amazing player, but like staying healthy has been his biggest concern in his career. But hey, last year he had a healthy year, and if he could play it healthy again, and then this team that has Bryce Young, who we all have our magnifying glass on, with a bunch of pieces, hey man, we'll see what that could become, because on defense, they don't have too many pieces. But what they did in the draft, I ain't hate it, bro. They did what they should have did. They went with defensive line and just they gonna build the trenches. Before they could go with DBs and stuff, they gotta go build up the trenches. But one thing I'll admit I ain't like is Nick Scorton. Nick Scorton is a project pick, man. I don't know, man. But like the thing about it though is they got somebody who's not a project pick in the next round. But I see why they took Nick. They're not at the point of team building to where like they need him year one. But year two, if he learns some moves, man, Nick Scorton with how big he is, bro, 6'4", 240, you know, like he is big. He a big body, and he's good at stopping the run. So you got a big body that's good at stopping the run, and you just develop him. I don't know who the Panthers got on their developing staff that they trust to develop a guy with no technique, but you develop him. You know that's what the plan is. He's really athletic. He gets no sacks. He gets no pressures, but he's good at stopping the run. Like, yeah, he's good at stopping the run and is very powerful. He is powerful though. So like, if he learns how to get to the quarterback in the NFL, he'll be a real nice player. But somebody who is a my guy, and I'm probably gonna be, man, I wouldn't be surprised if he makes an all pro team in his career. Princely, you man, but yeah, whoever his last name is, but Princely, this guy, I would not be surprised if he makes all pro teams in his career. I'm really high on this man. He has elite technique. Like unlike Shamar, or Nick, I mean, unlike Nick, he has elite technique and like, oh man, he gets to the quarterback. He has this crazy spin move, and why I compared him to what Pascal Siakam. Um, Nick Scorton, go back to him real quick. To compare him to Shamar Stewart, his teammate. He's a run stopper just like him. DeMarcus Lawrence, if he hits his upside, if Nick Scorton could get to the quarterback one day, maybe he could be DeMarcus Lawrence. But he's gonna be like a Jadeveon Clowney. You know, he's gonna be good at stopping the run, but that don't mean he's gonna be as good as Jadeveon Clowney as that. You know, Jadeveon Clowney's an elite run stopper. I'm saying Nick Scorton's an alright one. You know, I'm saying he's an alright run stopper who is next to an elite run stopper in the middle in Shamar Turner. You know, but like Nick Scorton is a good run stopper. That's why I don't really love to pick. He's a good run stopper that was next to an elite one. He don't get to the quarterback, and like he has the frame that you could, you know, hopefully develop one day. Princely has the frame, the knowledge, the pursuit, the athleticism. He has the all around package. Princely's biggest concern for me was how many of his pressures was his pressures, because that Ole Miss D line was stacked. But at the same time, I'm complaining. If your biggest complaint is that he's producing too much, okay, you feel me? Like, okay, that's a weird way to complain. Nah, Princely's that guy. Princely's that guy. Compared him to Pascal Siakam because of that spin move, boy. Oh my God, Princely with the spin move is the nastiest spin move I've seen. DeMarcus Ware, like I even had to put in the Lawrence Taylor. Like Princely is a nasty edge rusher who I think is gonna have a long career in the NFL. If I'm wrong about him, I'm wrong, but I see him at worst being like Romeo Aquar. Like I think that this guy is nice, and the Panthers got a gem late in the draft that a lot of teams are going to regret that they missed out on. I would have took him in the first round. I would have took him with a top 15 pick. You feel me? Like Princely is that good, or I don't know if I would have took him top 15, but no matter what in the first round, top 15, you could have debated it. You could have debated it. I don't know how to draft. I don't got the board in front of me right now, but Princely is that good. Princely is that good, and them getting him late in the draft is crazy. They got McMillan, who I think has no weakness at his position, and Princely, who I think has no weakness at his position. That's a good way to draft, bro. You drafting people who I don't think have a weakness at their position. Holy. That is a great way to draft. And the last guy who I recognize that the Panthers drafted is Cam Jackson. He is so big that he forces double teams. Like he's so big that you have to double team him because of his power. He's powerful. You have to force a double team, and he's a good run stopper because of it. He allows other people like a Nick Scorton. Like I said, Nick Scorton is a good run stopper because of the nose tackle he had next to him. Cam Jackson could play that nose tackle role. Cam Jackson could be the big nose tackle that gets all the bodies, and Nick Scorton and Princely just jump off of him because no matter what, Princely's gonna perform with him. But Nick Scorton, this could be the guy that helps him. This could be the guy that helps Nick Scorton into becoming the guy that is a DeMarcus Lawrence. And this D line, I love how this team went. They went with 3 D linemen that all fit each other. Nobody here is gonna stop each other from getting on the field. I mean, it's a rotation, so like they're gonna rotate for each other, but everybody has their role on this D line. Everybody has their role on this team. The Panthers is trying to get Bryce Young a spot in the playoffs, boy. But I don't know if that's gonna be this year. As a Panthers fan, what are y'all looking for? I think if I was y'all, I'll look for, just like I said, magnifying glass on Bryce Young. What is Bryce Young? I want to know what he is, how to build around him, what's his limits, what's his capabilities. But one thing I talked about in the Arizona Cardinals video, I hate teams that have a short quarterback and don't get a short center. If you have a short quarterback, please try and make sure that your center isn't 6'7". That's unfair, bro. That's unfair. You're telling me that he's 5'10" and got to look over a 6'7" center? Come on, bro. Willie Lampkin, a guy who I'm gonna name a lot for these short quarterback teams, bro. Willie Lampkin was right there in the draft, man. You gotta you gotta when you a team that has Bryce Young, y'all are right. You gotta get things that are catered to him. You gotta get him some weapons. You gotta get him Trevor Etienne, no excuses, right? Get him a short center. All right. After that's the only excuse I can make for Bryce Young. I just want to see him with a short center. After that, bro, that's cool. Actually, I'm doing all this yapping about a short center. How tall is Austin Corbett? Austin Corbett is 6'4". Yeah. Get him a look. Trade Austin Corbett for a fifth round pick, and you could have got Willie Lampkin. You know? You could have traded Austin Corbett for a seventh round pick and got Willie Lampkin. The guy went undrafted, you know? Like that's how I would attack the draft next year. If you see a guard or a center that you like, make convert him to a center, no matter what. If he's a guard or a center and he's like 5'11", that would be amazing for the Panthers. That would be amazing for the Cardinals, amazing for all these teams with a short quarterback. But yeah, that's it'll be yapping about having a short center. Yeah, well, like I said, we is at what, like 200 some subscribers now, man. If you listening to me right now, I appreciate you, because we at that point to where we almost monetized. We got enough watch time, y'all. We got the watch time to get monetized, but I don't have an amount of subscribers. We like 300 subscribers away. So please, if you could leave a like, comment, subscribe, that would be highly appreciated. Because hey, if I'm monetized and I'm getting paid to yap on the internet about football players and do this on this page too. On this page is just to make hot takes and stuff. But like, it's becoming something that like is garnering like, yeah. Hey, just I'm yapping. Thank you everybody for tuning in. Have a nice day and God bless.